I attended San Fernando Technical Institute and I did electrical installation, NEC. And as soon as I write my final exam, Caroni 1975 Limited came into the school and interviewed some of our students to take them into the industry. I was one of those and I was successful, and I started working in Britain Castle factory in 1970 of September. I was posted at St. Madeleine factory. Originally I was at BC factory. Posted at St. Madeleine as an engineer 1 in the electrical department, engineer 2, and by 1985 I was transferred up back to BC as a senior engineer services. That is in charge of electrical generation, overhead light 12,000 kVA, substation, factory electrics, factory instrumentation and control, and air conditioning. And from senior engineer, I worked for 2 years there, and then I was promoted to chief engineer. Successful, and I was made factory manager in 1989, from which I worked out until 2003, until the closure of Caroni 1975. My job as factory manager in Caroni 1975 Limited is to grind 560,000 tons of cane and produce 50,000 tons of sugar. That is the block. But to do that, you must prepare your budget, you must prepare your updating on your factory and equipment, you must have your people properly trained, you must deal with 4 trade unions. And in those days, all trade unions were led by Mr. Basi Pandey. Then you had SISA, which was the Junior Staff Association. And then you had ATAS, and there was a very powerful union man called Mr. Binder, who would not let anything pass when they represent the people. And then you had the Sugar Boilers Association. So as factory manager, it is the only position in Caroni Limited that you have to deal with 4 trade unions. And I would say 60% of my efforts were spent dealing with union matters on a day-to-day basis. I knew what the worker wanted because I was once a worker. So when a worker comes to me with the union, I know how to deal with him because of my experience being a worker at one time. One of the things we started to do in Caroni as factory manager, we were the first people who did electronic weighing systems in the country. As a matter of fact, the Bureau of Standards to borrow our weights to do their testing. We started to computerize the clocking system, the time clock system. We started to do computerizing of the plant preventive maintenance system. And in Caroni, like other industries, we never had people who doing the planning for us. We never had people who doing the forecasting for us. We had to do all that over time because, you know, Caroni had very little financial resources spent for those type of services. As soon as we train our technicians, our engineers, our apprentices, and they were good, very good, because we have one of the better training systems, and I will explain that. They go down to Point Lacers or Point Airport TCL and get a job. And why we were a good training tool, it is one of the only industry in Trinidad whereby we operate for 6 months and we shut down for 6 months. And because sugar is a corrosive sort of a product, we had to strip that factory down to the core and service all the parts, change whatever parts, and mount it up back and put it up back for it to work for the next 6 months. So as a trainee, apprentice, technician or engineer, you actually see what is inside those equipment. So because of that, that ability to strip the equipment and dismantle it and put it up back, our trainees were well recognized and well entertained throughout the country. You know, sugar was always under a control price by the government and the whole market. So we were making a product that we have no control to sell at. They took the factory from Caroni Limited, Caroni 1975 Limited, give it to NEC, who was right there, National Energy Corporation, to dismantle the factory and sell all the material and take it. They give they award a contract to Amcowell Limited. They came there. Amcowell brutalized the factory, so to speak, raped the factory, so to speak, of all the valuable equipment, cable, pumps, motors, gearboxes, tubings, whatever it is, and took it away and just leave the shell with all the asbestos there for somebody else to clean. But that factory you see out there is just a shell. It has no equipment. It is a shame to see how they brutalize that factory. There's no milling plant, which is the main thing there. You have all the internals of all these. If I were to carry inside and say, I want to show you how this thing works, I can't show you because the whole internal is gone. All the pumps, all the motors, all the things, all the gearbox, all the switch gear, the turbo alternators, everything gone. I think the intention really was to wipe off Caroni out of the map. Caroni 19th century should always be on top of the map.